Welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews, and today we're going to do a new show. We're going to talk about ballads of the 80s. So I've got Darren Sullivan and I've got Mark Cloer with me. How you doing, boys?
Great.
Wonderful.
Good, Lee. How are you, man?
Yeah, good. So this is a show that Mark actually had an idea to do this one, and I thought it was a good idea. A lot of people within rock and metal, they avoid the ballads, but us three are very sensitive, aren't we? We're in touch with our sensitive side. Do you know what I mean? So I think this would be a good thing. And the 80s in rock and metal, it was actually, you had to have. I would be a bit disappointed if there wasn't a ballad on an album. I don't know about you guys, but I think it was meant to be there in the 80s. You know, if there wasn't one, it was like, where's the ballad? You know, so there's hundreds of them. So this will be part one of probably many shows, even on the 80s alone. So, and we're going to be inviting different people in to talk about their favourite tracks and all that. So what we do, we don't know each other's tracks. We're going to take it in turns. If we've got the same song, then we've got enough, hopefully, to choose a different song so we don't repeat. So what we're going to do is just the name of the song, the band, a little bit of background, why you like the song, and then that's about it. So we're going to go Mark first, then we're going to go Darren, then myself, and we're going to do about half hour, 40 minutes, and then that'll be part one. All right with you guys?
Yep.
Cool. Let's do it.
Brilliant. Right, Mark, you're first, mate.
Okay, neither in no particular order. I'm just going to kind of pick them at random here. For the first one, I'll throw out Vinnie Vincent Invasion from the All Systems Go album, 1988, That Time of Year. Vinnie Vincent was a guitar god that should have been a lot bigger than he was. Unfortunately, his time with Kiss was cut short, mostly by his own doing. But he went on to form the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, did 2 albums. This is the second one. And this particular song, it's a ballad, but it's got a little bit of edge to it. Just a great song. Mark Slaughter on vocals. Like I said, Vinnie was he's really, I consider him one of the great tragedies in the world of heavy metal. I mean, he's still alive, don't get me wrong, but he vanished for so many years, and he recently has resurfaced, and he looks like Hillary Clinton wearing a dark suit. And from what I've seen, he doesn't have the chops anymore, it doesn't seem like. I wish he would kind of get back out there and reinvent himself and do something new. Yeah. He was too good a talent to just fade away. But I love this song. Probably my favorite song by that band.
Yeah.
Well, once it's my turn, I'm going to give a little, when I've heard both of yours, I might give a couple of seconds on your choices as well, because I've got something to say about that one for sure.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. All right.
Right. All done? All done, Mark?
Yeah.
Right. Go on in, Darren.
All right. So I'm going to go with The Search Is Over from Survivor, from their 1984 album, Vital Signs. It's an album which I've reviewed myself. I just love that album. And I think The Search Is Over, written by Jim Peterick. You've got Jimmy Jamison on that album. And Jimmy's voice, for me, I've said it in probably 100 of my videos, like he is up there with Steve Perry for me vocally. And this song, The Search Is Over, it's just great. Like when I was reviewing that album, I thought, when I'd listened to the song a few times up front, I thought it sounds a bit Broadway. But when you actually start to just listen to it more and more and more, like, I mean, it's just it's a stunning song about a guy who just, like, the love of his life was in front of him the whole time. He didn't notice it. And, they finally come, every highway leads me back to you as a lyric in it. It's just, it's an absolutely brilliant ballad for me. It's Survivor just don't get the recognition for anything outside of anything that's not in a Rocky movie. But this song on that album, which I have beside me here, if anyone wants to take a listen to it, that album, Vital Signs, take a listen to it, and Search Is Over. It's just a great ballad on that LP. So that's my first pick.
A couple of great.
I actually had that album.
Yeah.
I actually had that album on my list, and the 3 really good ballads on that album. What was the other one? High on You and I See You in Everyone.
I See You in Everyone, yeah.
That's a great song that probably anybody knows. I don't know that it ever got played on the radio, but yeah, that's a great album. I love that album.
Kind of great choices. The weird thing
Yeah.
about it, I know that I do love Jimmy Jameson's voice, but I love the Caught in the Game album. I just love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's my favourite Survivor album. I wasn't a big Survivor fan when I was a kid, but I've listened to more recently, and the Caught in the Game album is, I just love it. I love that album. I don't know why I love that one so much.
Yeah.
And going back to Mark's choice, I was a huge Vinnie Vincent fan. Those two albums for me were huge. The first one I like better, a bit more rawer, the first one. But they're both brilliant albums. But I would agree with you, Mark. That is actually my favourite song of Vinnie Vincent as well, that time of year. I haven't actually got it on my list because when I did my songs, I was going to start researching like all the ballads, but these songs just came into my head. So they might be even better songs than this. This is just a list of ones I thought of today, basically. So the first ones that came into it, but I love that time of year, man. That is one great song. That is brilliant. Right. Anyway, two brilliant choices.
I get the feeling my choices just aren't going to be as cool as your choices. The two of you are going to smash it. Mine are just not going to be as cool. I don't care though. I have no shame.
Nah, listen, I'm well behind here on the video, by the way. But I suppose because me and Mark are more, we were proper rock and metal, and that's it. I think that is our only sort of where I suppose we're more wider range of rock and metal, where you like a lot more stuff. I wish I'd like more stuff, to tell you the truth, mate. I wish, but it's in me, I suppose. I don't know why, but.
Got it. But what have you got for us?
Well, my first choice is a really cool choice. And
of course it is.
You might not have heard of these, Darren. I don't know. Mark might not have as well, but they only had 2 albums out. And it's a band called White Sister. Now, this song has been my favourite ballad of all time, and that's why I just put it first since it came out, and it hasn't changed. And it's called Save Me Tonight. And you would love this song, Darren, if you haven't heard it, honestly. You would love it. So it was actually from the album called Fashion by Passion in '86. It's their second album. And they were like on the cusp probably of being huge, but never quite there. I mean, this was on the Fright Night soundtrack. Do you remember the film Fright Night?
Yeah.
So it was in the background when he was doing some studying or something, the main character in it. American band. This wasn't actually a single, but it is such a brilliant track. Honestly, it's epic. The singer, called Dennis Churchill Dries, bit of a strange name, one of the best singers of the 80s, without a doubt, and such a shame, only 2 albums made. Piano starting it, and it builds up and builds up. It's such a dramatic, epic song, and I just love it. I mean, the singer actually went to form another band that was nothing like this band. They were a little bit southern rock-ish, but it didn't suit him as much because his voice is just AOR melodic rock all over. And 2 brilliant, superb, perfect albums. I think they come back and done a little concert, like a little get-together with the band, and then a couple of the members died, and they haven't done anything since. So it's a real shame, but Save Me Tonight, White Sister. And just for the people watching, I don't know if you guys have also, I don't know if you've got Spotify, you guys. I was thinking of putting all our songs that we choose on a Spotify playlist so people can listen to these songs who might not have heard them as well.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I was thinking about doing something similar on my channel where you just give the list of songs under. It's a good idea, Lee, yeah.
Yeah, and when we do another video, I'd add it to the playlist so anyone can listen to the songs we're talking about. So
yeah, good idea.
But no, both of you guys, have you heard of that White Sister, Mark?
I've heard of them. I can't say I've ever heard anything by that movie, Frightened. Did that come out about 85?
Something like that, mate, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the movie, so I know I've heard the song. Just didn't realize what it was.
They got such a big sound. If you hear both of these albums, you would think they was a huge band. It's just a shame. I don't know what happened, but there you go. That's my first choice, lads.
I haven't heard that myself, Lee, but I'll definitely check it out after the call.
Yeah. Let me know what you think.
Absolutely.
Right, number 2, or your second choice. we're not, these ain't ranked, by the way. Just thought these are just our favourites, if you like, what we thought of. So go on, Mark.
Okay. Second up, I'm going to pick a song by the Michael Schenker Group. Actually, the Macaulay Schenker Group in this case, from the album Save Yourself, came out in 1989. The song is called This Is My Heart. Robin McCauley is one of my all-time favorite singers. He's one of your countrymen there, Darren. Awesome singer.
Still got a good voice. A good voice.
Another one could have been a lot bigger name, just for whatever reason didn't become all that popular after he left. He actually had a stint, I'm sure Darren knows this, in Survivor for a while, which is kind of Just this year, he joined a band called Black Swan, and their debut album is very good. His voice has not diminished at all. There are two great ballads on this one. The other one's called Anytime. But the one I picked is called This Is My Heart. He sings it with so much feeling, and just a great song. Of course, anything with Michael Schenker's guitar in it, I can't fault.
Well, I haven't heard that song, so that's going to be one for me. So that's cool.
Yeah. Same. What kind of mood do you have to be in to turn that one on, Mark? Where are you? I mean, is this one for a home on the couch? Is this out in the car? Where are you when you're listening to a track like this?
I love that whole album. The first Macaulay did three. Well, he did three studio albums and then one live acoustic album with MSG. The first two, that one and Perfect Timing, from start to finish. I mean, they're great albums. The third one I didn't like as much, but this is one of those that has aged very well. Hadn't really, a lot of these albums from this time kind of sound dated when I listen to them now, but that one still sounds fresh to me. And I love that song. I can listen to it anytime, in any mood.
Cool.
Brilliant, mate. Oh, I haven't heard of that, so that's a new one for me. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to 1986 here. I'm going to a band which are still touring these days, to smaller venues, let's say. A band called Loverboy. I'm going with a song off that they wrote for, or they released for the Top Gun soundtrack called Heaven in Your Eyes. Very slow. Yeah. Very, very slow ballad. I'm big fan of Mike Reno. As you know, they kind of had their heyday in the early '80s. I think they were falling off a cliff by this point, come to the mid to late '80s. But Heaven in Your Eyes, it's just production's great on it, as you would expect anyway for a soundtrack in a big movie like that. But it's just that this guy has played the field, and he's sleeping around. He's been doing whatever he wants to do, but he just sees that the woman of his dreams has always been there, and he wants to get back to her, and it's I think they did a lot of work with Mutt Lange, and I think you can feel a bit of that off this. I don't know if Mutt was involved in this particular production of this, but they did a lot of work in their early days with Mutt Lange, and I don't know, just Heaven in Your Eyes. I'll turn this on. I'm floating around the house, whatever. This just goes on, and I'm I've got the broom in hand. The brooms that I'm using it as a microphone for this kind of stuff. It's great.
They were big. Like when I was growing up on MTV, I used to see them on there all the time. And you know what? I think I know the song because it's a huge song, but I didn't actually know Loverboy did that song. But I know the song because I'm singing it now in my head. So if it is that song,
yeah,
it is the one I'm thinking of. Is it the one that goes? It's sort of like, it's not going to sound anything like it. I can see the heaven in your eyes, like that.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go. See,
check you out. You sound better than Mike Reno does now. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I do know the song. It's a great song, man. It really fitted the Top Gun soundtrack. Like, you could just, it is very much a soundtrack song.
Yeah.
Right, my number 2 is a bit of a strange.
If anyone's watching,
go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if anyone's watching Top Gun, you can catch it when they're in the scene in the diner with their girlfriends. It's on the radio. That's where it is in the film. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, cool, man. So this next one is a bit of a strange one because it's the only song I've heard of this band. And the reason I've put this was one of my brother had this on a single. So when there was singles way back when. come out in 1981. A Canadian band. Yeah. April Wine. Anyone heard of April Wine? I'm sure you have. So a song called Just Between You and Me, which is just so catchy. And it's the only song I've heard of them. And I don't know why, like I said, when I was thinking of these songs that just come into my head, this came in straight away. So the only song I've heard of them, I know they're like more along the lines of rock. They're not metal or anything, I don't think. But they were going in the 60s, this band, and this came out in 81. I'm reading about it. It's their most successful single they've ever had, or the most successful song. And like I said, it's the only one I know. It's really melancholy. It's sort of sad sounding, but really, really catchy. And what I can make out is I'm trying to look at lyrics because of you, Darren, so you don't catch me out.
Yeah.
It's about an ex, basically, and remembering an ex. That's all I can sort of figure out from the lyrics. Very straightforward lyrics, but a really catchy song. And like I said, you know, if you guys ain't heard this one, I don't know. It's the only song I've heard of April Wine, and they've had tons of stuff out. I don't know why I haven't pursued them anymore, but I love the song. It's a really catchy song. So
no, I've never heard it.
It's really catchy, mate.
I've never heard it again. Learning a little bit, learn a bit from this video actually. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's my number 2. You heard of them, Mark? You must have heard of the band April Wine.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I can't name.
Nah.
You know, if I thought, if I could think of a couple of songs, but yeah, I'm aware of.
Well, I know more songs than you two. I know one. Right, that's good. Some good choices here, man, by the way. I'm loving this. So I'm finding some new music as well, so it's good. Right, number 3 for Mark.
Yeah, okay, this one will not come as a shock. Striper, going all the way back to the Yellow and Black Attack, 1984. My Love I'll Always Show. This song actually originally was recorded as a pretty fast tempo hard rocker. And somewhere along the line, they redid it into a ballad. And I mean, this is a real ballad. This isn't what I would call a power ballad. I mean, it's a straightforward acoustic ballad. A great song. I think it actually, the lyrics translate better to it in ballad form than it does in the hard rock version. They later released the original Rock's Regime demos that were recorded when they were still known as Rock's Regime, with the rockin' version of this song. And then they later re-recorded another version that was on, either on Reborn or Murder by Pride. I can't remember off the top of my head. But another fast-paced hard rocker. I like both versions, but the original ballad version, it's a very heartfelt ballad. Michael's vocal delivery is spot on, and I think it's better as a ballad than as a hard rocker. That's the original or the first Striper ballad, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's cool, Mark. I mean, I think the thing with Striper, it's not something that I listened to too much until kind of really discover. I listened to a little bit, but more since discovering Lee's channel and reaching out and seeing, Rex and Kent and you talking about, Striper. That's where I suppose over the last month, I'd say I've been listening to it to a lot more of it.
Yeah.
All right then, mate. Darren?
All right, so I'm going to go with, not a lot of people would have watched, or well, not everyone that watches this would have watched me and you, Lee, talking about our top 10 Journey songs. So I'm going to jump back into Journey here with a song from Frontiers, 1983, Faithfully, from that particular Journey song, Faithfully. So, I think we discussed it when we were talking about Journey. It was a song about, being on the road, being away from your, being away from your family and, or being away from your loved or your girlfriend, or your wife, or your husband, or whatever it might be. But there's just the song is just it's an amazing ballad. But for me, it's the end of it, as Perry goes, "I'm forever yours, faithfully," and then you've got he's almost dueling with Neil Sean as he's belting out that lyric, "faithfully for yours," and Neil Sean is just jamming away over it. It's just such a powerful track, such a powerful song. I think I said to you on that video, getting married next year, and that will be the first dance. It's just a absolutely powerful song, and just Perry, Sean, all of it. It's just great,
mate. I mean, that song was at the forefront of my mind when I was thinking. But I knew I had a feeling. You know, I thought I don't know if Darren's going to choose it, but I love it. And you know what? It don't matter how many times I hear that song. It really doesn't matter how many times I hear it. It's just superb. It's a brilliant song. I love it. You're a Journey. You like a bit of Journey?
Anytime you turn on the radio, you have to hear that song. But like I say, I don't get tired of it either. That's just one of the, when you think of ballads, that and Open Arms, you know, both immediately pop into your head.
Absolutely.
You really can't have a list of ballads without Journey. That would be criminal. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you did it.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you did it because I avoided it because I thought you might. So I'm glad you did it. So that's superb. Right. So my next one, and I don't know, I might be pulled up on this because I made a few rules like I do, like an idiot, saying like, you know, we need to have some rules to these ballads. What we can't have any sort of, it has to be a slowish sort of song. And it has to be we can't have something talking about death and things like that, can we, if it's a ballad? So, but I really wanted to get Ronnie James Dio on here because I think he's the best.
You're breaking your own rules.
Hold on. I haven't yet. You haven't heard the song yet. Mark might. If Mark says it's not allowed, then I won't do it. I'll do another one. But it's actually a Black Sabbath. It's a Black Sabbath song. So it's off of Mob Rules, 1981. It's Over and Over. Yeah, is that allowed, Mark? Isn't it? It's a spell.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I thought about that one myself, but I ruled it out because it was a little bit too edgy. But yeah, I'll give you that.
Well, it's definitely slow. It's a slow paced song.
Yeah.
He's got. Well, we all know Ronnie James Dio is just an amazing singer, and he's so emotional on this. Well, from what I can make out lyrically, it's about frustration with the way the world is, basically. That's what I can sort of make out. Tony Iommi, again, it's very similar. Like we was talking about Heaven and Hell the other day, weren't we, mate? And Lonely is the Word. It's a sort of that sort of solo in it, where there's a couple of breaks of solos. One of the best solos Tony Iommi's ever done. It's a closer as well to the album. So emotional. And I just think it sort of takes you to another place, this song. I think it's a ballad.
It's definitely toward the power ballad. Anything Iommi does is going to have that edge, with the exception of, going back to the Ozzy era, Changes or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a heavy song, but I would give you that as a ballad. Yeah, I'll give you a pass on that.
Thank you very much. Right. Right, Mark, you're next.
Let's see. This one is Great White, going back to Twice Shy album. And that was in, what year was that? 1989. The song is called The Angel Song. Beautiful song. This is the only song that ever made me want to play the piano. I don't have a musical bone in my body. I probably couldn't even play the tambourine if I tried. But one of my great regrets is not pursuing some form of music. Wish I had pursued guitar, wish I had pursued drums. Never really had a desire to play piano until I heard this song. Michael Lardy played the piano on this song, and it's just beautiful ballad. Great White, those first 4 or 5 albums I really, really liked. After that, I kind of lost touch with them. But they've done some good ballads over the years. This was definitely my favorite.
I haven't heard of it, mate. I haven't heard the song. I've heard a few Great White songs, but I haven't heard that one. So that's another new one for me. So
there's a good video for it on YouTube that they used to play on MTV. You need to watch it.
Cool, excellent, mate.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the piano. You've mentioned the piano there, Mark. I can see this when I was putting together my list. It's so many of these ballads, they're so piano laden, aren't they? Maybe that's the magic formula that makes it the ballad. But nearly every note I have and every song I'm picking, it's definitely got a piano heavy laden throughout the spine of the song. Kind of, I don't know if you guys noticed that as you were picking your list on these ballads. Yeah. That seems to be the formula.
Yeah, definitely on some of them, definitely. Right, mate.
Yeah.
You're up, Darren.
Okay. All right, I'm going to push the boundaries here, Lee. of your channel to its extreme. Okay, so I think I'm on the very, very outer limits of what is acceptable on your channel with this pick. Right, I'm going 1983. I'm going Air Supply, Making Love Out of Nothing at All, which is soft rock. And it's, you know, we're bordering on pop rock here, but for me, I love it. I love this track by the Aussies. It was written by Jim Steinman, who done a lot of the Bat Out of Hell stuff, and I think he done stuff with, you know, Bonnie Tyler, and I think later on Celine Dion and all that kind of stuff. But it's one of them songs that it builds and builds and builds and builds. It's a 5 or 6 minute song, but around the 4 minute mark, it hits, like it really starts to, you know, it gathers its stride, and that's when it hits you. You know, it gives you this lyric. You know, I've got it in front of me here. I can make the runner stumble. I can make the final block. I can make every tackle at the sound of the whistle. I can make the stadiums rock. Now, I don't care if it's soft rock. When that lyric is sang, I'm going insane. I just think it's I think Air Supply had a lot of ballads, right? But this, for me, would be their best. I just think it's a fine tune. And as I said, it's probably bordering on the very outer limits of your channel. But I love it.
Listen, man, there's a lot of stuff on the channel I think that's bordering on soft rock. You know, I'm a bit of a sucker for those sort of things at times. You know what I mean? If I'm in the mood. So,
okay, cool.
And Mark let me get away with Black Sabbath as well. So, you know, I can't really argue.
Having said all that, though, Lee, are you a fan of that song?
I don't. You know what? I have heard a few Air Supply songs, and it might be one of those ones that if it came on, I'd know, but I'm not sure until I've heard it. So I can't wait to hear some of these songs, man. I'm getting excited. You know what I mean? So it's good. When I do the Spotify list,
nothing at all.
Be all right.
Yeah,
be good. Right, my next one is, you've probably heard of this guy, Stan Bush.
Yes.
Yes.
You've done a few songs for the Transformers movie.
Exactly. So Stan Bush and Barrage. He made an album with a band called Barrage, and back in 1987. And yeah, he did do The Touch for the Transformers movie. But this song,
Dare.
Yeah. But this song is Love Don't Lie from that Stan Bush and Barrage album. Oh man, this is another one, you guys, if you haven't heard it, you will fall in love with this. So Stan Bush's voice, man, he's got such a great voice, so powerful. And this is like an acoustic guitar at the beginning with him singing over it. What an amazing voice. And it builds and it builds. You know, you said about noticing that piano-led songs with you, Darren. Yeah. I've noticed a lot of my songs are building, like you said, the Air Supply, it builds and builds, and in the end it becomes really epic. And this is one of them, man. His vocals are incredible on this. The solo as well, it near enough follows the melody of this song, but it's such a sad, the way he plays this solo. And I think he plays guitar, but I don't know if he plays the lead guitar on this. But it's such a sad, melancholy solo, just following the melody of the song, but even more sadder. What a brilliant song. And I think it's like, looking at what it's about, it's I think he's having an affair with someone, like in a relationship, but he wants to like be with this person. He can't lie anymore, you know, and he wants this person for himself, basically. That's what I can figure out. But another great song, and honestly, I really want to hear, if you haven't heard this one, I want to hear what you think of these as well when you have a listen. I really do.
I haven't heard that particular one, Lee, but I think somebody like Stan Bush probably deserves a bigger career, as you said, than that, for his voice and his talent. Even if you go onto his Twitter account, he said, "You might know me as the voice of the Transformers movie," or whatever. You know, I think he even notices, you know, he even acknowledges how ridiculous it is, but he deserves better, doesn't he? I haven't heard that song, but his voice is just brilliant.
Mate, yeah. It's brilliant. You heard of Stan Bush, Mark?
I can't say that I have.
Yeah, I think if you start with this album, Stan Bush and Barrage, they've had 2 albums out, but if you start with that one, the self-titled album, honestly, that you can't go wrong with it. Every track is superb. So brilliant guitar playing, brilliant vocalist, and really catchy as well. So right, I reckon we might have time for one more, because I'm looking at the time now. I reckon one more. We'll quickly do one more for this part 1, guys. All right.
Cool.
Okay, being the big Kiss fan I am, This is kind of a odd choice, I'll admit. Peter Criss was actually my favorite member of Kiss. After he left the band, he put out a couple of solo albums. This particular album came out in 1982. It's called Out of Control was the first one. This is called Let Me Rock You. Very un-Kiss-like. This stuff is probably actually more in Darren's wheelhouse as far as style. But there's a song on here that was actually written by Vinnie Vincent called Tears. And there were a couple other people that recorded over the years, one of which was John Waite from the Babies and Bad English. He recorded a version of it. But Peter Criss did a version on this particular album, and I just love it. Great song. Vinny actually, there's a demo on YouTube you can hear of Vinny singing. Vinny had a great voice, and he should have released it himself. But Peter recorded it on this album. Sounds a little bit dated because of the synthesizers and keyboards, but great song. I love it. If you haven't heard it, check it out.
Well, I haven't, mate.
Absolutely.
So that's another one for me. Brilliant. Right, Darren.
This is quite cool. Like because we're learning a little bit here from other songs. I thought we were all going to come on and have the obvious ones. Maybe I'm going to finish off with an obvious one, but it's been good to kind of hear other stuff, and I'm looking forward to listening to them afterwards. Anyway, I'll crack on with my final choice, and that is I Want to Know What Love Is from Foreigner, 1984, Agent Provocateur. So Foreigner have come off the back of an album 3 years earlier. They had their big album, then they 4, and then they come back with Agent Provocateur and blow it out of the water with this song. Now, this is one of them songs that is an amazing song, but I think a band like Foreigner might look at it as a curse. It's almost like a blessing and a curse to them, because in one hand it probably made them a lot of money, and Lou Gramm probably has some nice house up in upstate New York now because of it. But on the other hand, it killed them I think it killed them in the same way, say, Bryan Adams was killed by that big Robin Hood song. It gets so big that they're only known for that song. Maybe Waiting for a Girl Like You. They're their top 2 songs. But having said all of that, I do prefer Foreigner's more harder stuff. But this song is a true ballad, and it's got Lou Gramm's voice. Just, nobody else could do this song other than Lou Gramm. An absolute legend.
I love it. I love the song, man. I mean, it seemed to be #1 over here for like months, but I loved it. I loved the song.
Yeah.
Brilliant song.
I actually saw Foreigner on that tour back in 84, I think it was.
Oh!
And they brought, I think they did it every town they went to. They found a local choir to join them on stage for that song. And that was very, very powerful.
Brilliant.
Mark, I could talk to you for an hour just asking you about that gig. If I had a time machine, I'm going back there to that gig. Wow. Unbelievable.
They had laser. This is when the laser shows were kind of, coming out, and they had a hologram of the F for Foreigner, that kind of appeared on the stage. It was kind of ahead of its time.
But just
that kind of stuff in. But that was a great show. Jafria.
Just on the song though, very quickly, Mark, is this a favorite of yours or not? Would you prefer their harder stuff, or do you like this ballad?
I love that song. Yeah, I wouldn't have picked it just because it's more mainstream. There's another one on that album I'm not going to name that I like a little better, because I probably will bring it out on another episode.
Okay.
I love that album. I like Foreigner a lot. Them and Journey and Survivor are some of the only non-metal bands that I really got into.
Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant. Well, I'm quickly going to do this because I think I'm going to run out of time. But the last one I've chosen is Kingdom Come, the band Kingdom Come. Now, they're still going now, I believe. Brought a lot of albums out. This album, their debut album's in 1988, self-titled, and the song called What Love Can Be. They was tarnished with sounding like Zeppelin. And I'm not a Zeppelin fan, but the singer has probably got some influence there from Robert Plant. And they were tarnished with this, they're a Led Zeppelin copy, but I loved them. So I didn't like Zeppelin that much, but I loved Kingdom Come. American / German band, Lenny Wolf. I'm sure that's not his real name, the singer. I mean, this is another one that builds up, just like the others I'm talking about. starts off sort of a little bluesy, brilliant voice, and it reaches some heights at the end of this song that are absolutely unbelievable. This band toured, did the Monsters of Rock tour in America. You probably remember, Mark, with Metallica, Scorpions, Van Halen, Dokken, massive tour going on. They were like the opening act, I think. But this is a brilliant song. Yet another one, you guys, if you haven't heard this one, builds up and builds up. What an epic song. Brilliant song. So that's my number. Well, that's my 5th choice. So we got 5 each, ain't bad.
Pretty
I
good.
think we got through 5 each. Yeah, pretty good.
So thanks for coming on, guys. I really enjoyed it. Found some new music. We're obviously going to do a part 2, part 3, whatever it takes to go through the 80s. But I loved it. It's probably been my favourite show so far. So I really loved it. It's been brilliant.
Cheers for having us on. I think you're right. I think there's so much in this well you can go to, whether it's me on kind of more of an AOR mainstream kind of stuff, or Mark stuff, you know, which he's got the deeper tracks and which is great, and then your stuff as well. So yeah, I think this well runs deep.
Yes, definitely, and it's great. So, Mark, anything to say before we go?
No, just I'm looking forward to part 2. I've got a lot more that I was, kind of hoping to get in, but we'll do it next time.
Brilliant. So subscribers, or comments as far as they go, like, just let us know your favorite 80s songs. Remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to be going through so many. So there might be some that you mentioned that are going to come, so don't have a go at us because we haven't mentioned them. We've only just started. That's 15 tracks out of probably thousands we're going to talk about. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you want to subscribe, please press the red button, bottom right corner.